Do you know why the United States is not just respected by other countries, but feared? Not hated. Not misunderstood. Feared. Because fear is different from anger. Fear is quieter. Fear is strategic. Fear watches carefully and plans for the worst. The fear of the United States does not come from one war, one president, or one decision. It comes from memory. Countries remember what America does when it decides something matters. The United States does not arrive loudly at first. It arrives with words. Freedom, security, stability, democracy. These words sound harmless, even noble. But history has taught the world that when America repeats these words long enough, action follows, and action is never small. Other countries fear the United States because it does not think like them. Most nations are shaped by survival. Borders, neighbors, scarcity, history. The United States was shaped by distance. Oceans protected it. Resources fed it. Time allowed it to grow without interruption. So America learned something dangerous very early in its life. It learned that consequences happen somewhere else. When wars are far away, war feels abstract. When suffering is off-screen, morality becomes flexible. Other countries learned restraint because mistakes were costly. America learned confidence because mistakes were survivable. That confidence eventually became dominance. The United States does not fear escalation the way others do. It escalates to end uncertainty. And that terrifies the world. Because America does not just respond to threats. It redefines them. A nation may believe it is acting defensively. America may decide that action threatens global stability. And once something is labeled a threat to global stability, it becomes everyone's problem, on America's terms. Countries fear the United States because it controls narratives before it controls territory. Before the missiles, there are headlines. Before the sanctions, there are speeches. Before the invasion, there is justification. By the time the world realizes what is happening, the story has already been written. And America is very good at storytelling. It does not say, "We want power." It says, "We want order." It does not say, "We need control." It says, "We need security." It does not say, "This benefits us." It says, "This protects everyone." And sometimes, it's true. That is what makes it so dangerous. Because the United States does not see itself as a villain. It sees itself as a reluctant hero. A hero who did not ask for responsibility, but took it anyway. Other countries fear the United States because it believes in its own morality deeply. Deep belief can be more frightening than open cruelty. A cruel empire knows it is cruel. A moral empire believes its violence is justified. When America intervenes, it does so with confidence that history will forgive it. Sometimes history does. Sometimes it doesn't. But forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. Countries remember collapsed governments. They remember proxy wars. They remember leaders overthrown in the name of stability. They remember promises that expired when interests changed. They remember that America does not stay forever, but the damage often does. The United States is feared because it has unmatched reach. Not just military reach. Economic reach. Cultural reach. Technological reach. A country can anger America without ever seeing a soldier, and still collapse. A currency weakens. Trade dries up. Technology access disappears. Allies step back quietly. No bombs. No invasion. Just pressure. Silent pressure. Other nations fear the United States because it can hurt them without touching them. And because it often smiles while doing it. America calls this leverage. Others call it suffocation. But perhaps the deepest fear of the United States is its unpredictability. Not chaos, change. America changes faces often. Elections swing policies wildly. Allies become enemies. Enemies become partners. A deal signed today may be reversed tomorrow. And when the most powerful country in the world behaves like this, everyone else lives in uncertainty. Other nations must prepare not for what America says, but for what it might decide next. Because America does not operate on survival alone. It operates on emotion. Fear. Pride. Anger. Shock. When America is wounded, it responds disproportionately. Not because it is weak, but because it refuses to appear weak. Countries fear humiliating the United States more than attacking it. Because humiliation invites obsession. And America never forgets an insult. Yet the irony is this: the world does not fear the American people. It fears the American system, a system built for expansion, for influence, for momentum. Once the system is in motion, stopping it is almost impossible, even for Americans themselves. Wars continue long after support fades. Policies survive long after logic dies. Because power creates inertia. And inertia does not care about morality. The United States is feared because it rarely loses completely. It adapts. It absorbs damage. It reshapes narratives. Defeat becomes lessons learned. Failure becomes necessary cost. Other nations break under loss. America reframes it. That ability to survive mistakes makes it unstoppable and terrifying. But here is the most human truth of all. The United States is feared because it is afraid. Afraid of decline. Afraid of losing relevance. Afraid of becoming ordinary. America was raised to believe it is exceptional. Not better. Exceptional. And when a nation believes it is exceptional, equality feels like erasure. So it pushes harder, expands further, dominates longer. Not because it must, but because it cannot imagine stopping. Other countries sense this anxiety. They know America is not just protecting interests. It is protecting identity. And identity makes people irrational. That is why the United States feels dangerous to the world. Not because it is evil, but because it is emotional, powerful, and convinced it means well. History has shown that the most feared forces are not monsters. They are believers. And the United States believes deeply in itself. The question the world is asking is not whether America will remain powerful. The question is whether it will ever learn to be powerful without being feared. Because fear creates resistance. Resistance creates conflict. And conflict eventually humbles even the strongest nations. The United States stands at a crossroads it does not like to acknowledge. Continue being feared. Or learn to be trusted. Because power can command silence. But only trust creates peace. And peace is something fear has never been able to buy.